Vlahovic will leave Juventus if they get dropped into Serie B after rumours that they are in a lot of trouble, and Manchester United will emerge as one of the favourites to sign Vlahovic. Also, rumours of Manchester United signing a new goalkeeper with Unai Simon and Diogo Costa as options, but the news emerging today is that Manchester United are ready to go in for Moises Caicedo, and it seems that Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez and Frankie de Jong have been made more attainable targets than Jude Bellingham. We know about Gakpo and Felix and Depay. United are interested in them in January, but also Manchester United stars are lighting up the World Cup. Bruno, 2 goals, 2 assists, lining up for Portugal. Marcus Rashford set to start tonight for England against Wales, but for Pellistri, that's not played a single minute for Manchester United this season, not started a single game for United despite being here 2.5 years. He's playing for Uruguay at the World Cup in a good Uruguay side and playing quite well. He's been working really hard at Old Trafford trying to impress bosses, but Man United aren't giving him a chance. And Man United, despite being short on wingers and him impressing in the World Cup, have told him he's probably allowed to leave in January. Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another video on the channel summarising all the Manchester United news, transfer news and more coming out this morning. We're going to get into the latest story on Moises Caicedo, Vlahovic, a couple other news stories going around, Frimpong the right back as well, Wan-Bissaka, everything you need to know today. We're going to get into that, and then talks about Pellistri leaving the club on loan, on permanent. What's the situation with that? I'm sure if Pellistri leaves, that confirms an attacker comes in, because we're short on attackers now with Ronaldo going. We know that when we had Ronaldo, Ten Hag wanted an attacker. If we net Ronaldo and Pellistri go, you know, even though Pellistri's not really played for United, you know, that's an option. And that would, you know, that for me would signify an attacker's coming in, because, you know, I think if we bring in an attacker, they'll let Pellistri go. Before I jump into the news, I want to clarify right now, no deals will be done till after the World Cup. There's reports that United are working on deals, but obviously, you know, we can't get Gakpo done till after the World Cup, because he's not going to fly back mid-World Cup for his Man United medical, then go back to the Netherlands, is he? Same with Joao Felix. Man United seem to be doing some work behind the scenes on certain deals, but they can't finalise these deals until the World Cup. So although the rumours might seem repetitive, or you might be like, oh, but we kind of know this, remember, it can't move until after the World Cup. So we're just getting information on what might happen, who we're interested in more. And I want to start off with the Caicedo news. It's come from Plenty Goal, which is a decent source of information, that have said that Manchester United are planning to enter the race for Moises Caicedo. Boss is highly interested. Also on the list of Liverpool, next to Bellingham, and spotted by many other top clubs. So United and Liverpool seem interested in Caicedo. This story, I believe, is true because we're interested in signing him in the summer. I like Casemiro. As Neymar said, he's been the best midfielder in the world for a few years, Casemiro. But I think, you know, he is getting on a bit, and, you know, while we have Casemiro and how amazing he is and how brilliant he was for Brazil, and I can't believe we've got a player as good as Casemiro playing for us, considering we didn't have a proper DM for years. You know, we need someone that could be moulded into that Casemiro spot for the future. We need someone young that can maybe come in and play with Casemiro, and then when he leaves, play the Casemiro role. And I think Moises Caicedo, for me, would be a good move. He's not my first choice, but he's definitely up there. The thing that annoys me is that we could have got for 4 million, and now we're talking 50 million. My first choice would be Enzo Fernandez, Argentinian player playing in the Portuguese league. We are linked to him again in the summer. He just looks like he would fit in perfectly. Frankie de Jong is the dream, because, you know, there's no player that could do a better job than him in that ball-playing role. There's no player that Ten Hag needs more, but we don't know if we'll get Frankie de Jong or not. But Moises Caicedo definitely on that list for me after de Jong and Enzo Fernandez. You know, I like Bellingham, but he's not worth 150 million. You know, and I think he's incredibly overrated. As much as I like Bellingham and I rate Bellingham and think he'll be a fantastic player, I'm not, you know, I don't want to spend, you know, when we need a striker or a right back, a midfielder, a goalkeeper even, you could say, you know, I don't want to be spending, you know, over 100 million on one player. So yeah, that's the news on the midfield situation. Keep an eye on Moises Caicedo. Regarding Vlahovic, Dusan Vlahovic obviously only went to Juventus last year. Been absolutely brilliant for Juventus. Arsenal were interested in him. United, Ten Hag is an admirer of him. We know from a lot of sources Ten Hag likes the player. There was obviously a report that I spoke about on the channel probably about a month ago saying if Man United get top 4 and Juventus don't, there's a strong chance they could get Vlahovic. We know we want a long-term striker in the summer. We know that this is Ten Hag's summer target. This wouldn't be a January deal. This is the summer target of Ten Hag, Vlahovic and Osimhen and Sesko. They are the 3 summer targets. It was said that Erik Ten Hag would like the player. And we know that, you know, Juventus, that all their boards resigned. There's rumours of them going in Serie B. These are all rumours. This is all speculation. This isn't news. This is just an opinion. I think if, you know, something happens to Juventus where they're not in the Champions League or they don't get into Serie B next season, I think there's a strong chance that Vlahovic could be snapped up by a Premier League club, including Manchester United. I think, there's Chelsea could be interested as well, but I think we are the club that obviously needs a striker. And for me, I think it would be fantastic if we could get him, because Juventus being in Serie B, potentially on a reduced price as well. And he's such a fantastic player. And, I think with Vlahovic, he's the type of player that if he wanted to move, he could get the move, but it's will he want to move to United as well. But I want to get into some of the transfer news going in and around today. Was said by Matteo Moretto that there are Premier League clubs that are very attentive to Unai Simon's situation, and Bilbao are willing to let him listen to offers for no less than 30 to 40 million euros. So I know Diogo Costa is the first choice goalkeeper, but he's looking at about £60 million, whereas Unai, Simon would probably be about £30 million, half the price. Ten Hag wants a goalkeeper. I think De Gea has been fantastic. I think Diogo Costa would be my first choice goalkeeper. I think De Gea has been brilliant this season. I think he's adapted well this season. I think you could see improvement in De Gea's overall play. But I do think long term we will need a goalkeeper to play the way Ten Hag wants to play. I don't think it's the be-all and end-all. A lot of fans do think it's the be-all and end-all getting a new goalkeeper. For me, I still think we need a new striker and a midfielder more. I think De Gea can do a job, but I think long term Ten Hag will want that goalkeeper because he wants to play out from the back. And I would keep an eye on goalkeepers in the summer because De Gea's contract's not been renewed. We know a goalie will leave. We know Dino or De Gea will leave. Maybe both if we do get a goalkeeper in. And I would say keep an eye on the goalkeeper situation in the summer. But the situation we need to keep an eye on in January is the right back situation. It was being said from team talk that Fulham and Crystal Palace both want to sign Wan-Bissaka in January. Although I'm not aware of the source, we've heard this news time and time again. So I believe that that's probably true. And it was said by Pellistri again that new talks over Jeremy Frimpong to United will take place after the World Cup. Frimpong's aware in United's interest now. So Pellistri was saying that we are going to have talks with Frimpong after the World Cup. So I think Wan-Bissaka is 100% leaving in January. And, we heard from Samuel Luckers yesterday that we were going to recall Laird and that maybe Brandon Williams will play right back. So for me, I think maybe we'll hold talks with Frimpong, but I'd be really shocked if the Glazers went and sign an attacker and a right back. However, they do want to sell the club, they do want to increase the value. You just don't know. I think it'll be more like Laird is recalled and Brandon Williams plays right back and we go and put our budget in on an attacker, or we get a shit 33-year-old attacker on loan that costs us no money and we go and get Frimpong. I don't know if we'll get a right back and an attacker. I know that's what Ten Hag wants. I know that we've been looking at this guy for a while, but there are obviously news coming out that, Wan-Bissaka will go, but we'll probably just recall Ethan there. We don't want to spend money in January. The board before the Ronaldo situation, Murty came out and said he doesn't want to spend money in January. I don't think United will buy a right back if they don't think they need to. They feel like they can play Brandon Williams there or recall thingy-majiggy. I think what United need to do is sign a striker. And we know from Ornstein and Luckhurst that United know they need to sign a striker, they need to sign an attacker, which is why we've been linked to Gakpo, Depay and Joao Felix, who are the three strongest links, but you never know, we'll probably end up with Choupo-Moting. Now, the final story I want to talk about is Pellistri leaving Manchester United. Facundo Pellistri has been at Manchester United 2.5 years and has never started a game. In my opinion, he's much better than Elanga. He's had good loan spells, although he's gone to defensive clubs and hasn't got crazy goals and assist numbers. It's about the eye test. To be fair to Ten Hag, Pellistri had been injured for most of this season, which is probably why he's not played. But you've got to think, he didn't play a single minute for Manchester United all season, and he goes and starts for Uruguay at the World Cup. It's not like Uruguay, Qatar. Uruguay are a good side. They got he's starting with Nunes, Suarez, Valverde. He's starting with Benteke. He's starting with all these good players. You've got to look at it like that. And what was said about Facundo Pellistri the other day was that he's been very desperate to impress, and he's regularly asked coaches Fletcher and McLaren and McCarthy to stay behind and put extra sessions in. We know he's been working with Bruno and other Manchester United players on, improving his finishing. He's desperate to impress at Manchester United, but there was a big report that came out about a week or two ago from his agent, basically saying that he will leave in January, not on loan permanently. His agent, I think, started saying that he's going to permanently leave. There's a bit of frustration over lack of minutes. He wants to be playing regular first team football. And you think, well, Man United, this guy's probably better than Elanga. Man United needs someone else on the flanks with injuries, games coming up and Ronaldo leaving. Why would Man United let World Cup star Pellistri go? It was said by Rob Dawson that Facundo Pellistri is likely to leave Manchester United on loan in the January transfer window. And I can't blame for Pellistri for wanting to move. It's not completely Ten Hag's fault because he has been injured. But why are we letting him go? Maybe he wants to leave and then you're like, yeah, we're going to make a player leave. If he wants to leave, we'll let him go. Maybe he wants a permanent move, maybe he wants a loan, and I understand why he'd want a loan. He'd want to play, and I think a loan is smart. But for me, that says that surely we're signing an attacker in January, because United are going to pull, though we've got Ethan Laird to come back. We don't need a right back to place Wan-Bissaka. So I thought United would very much play that. For Cody Pellistri, it's like a new signing. He's been at the World Cup card, which I don't think they will. And I'd like to see Pellistri play for United, but I think, it'll be hard to fit him in, especially with Garnacho being so good, though I think a loan would be good for Pellistri. But I think for me that confirms that surely someone is coming in January, because to need an attacker when we had Ronaldo and Pellistri at the club, we're definitely going to need someone that can play an attack after January. And I'm sure news will come out about Felix and Gakpo. And I have to say, I don't want to talk too much about Felix and Gakpo, because we know United are interested. We know that they can go in January. But, we know that nothing's going to happen until after the World Cup. You've got to remember this with Joao Felix and Cody Gakpo. Once they're knocked out of the World Cup, sit on your seats with that post-notification bell on, and the things are going to move quickly. Pellistri, Joao Felix, Gakpo. I don't know if they'll go to United, but the news will move quick. Nothing's going to happen in January until after the World Cup. So this is all the news, this is all the information coming out. But make sure you have that post-notification bell out, because teams are getting knocked out of the World Cup this week, and there will be a lot of transfer news to come.